I recently put out a video about the productivity apps I'm using going into 2026. Now, I wanted to cover the utility apps I'm using this year. This video is sponsored by Anker. Let's get into it. Another video I made recently was a video about how I'm fixing my focus. And something I didn't talk about in that video is how I'm dealing with the feeds. In 2026, every app has an algorithmic timeline and they all want to capture your focus and they want you to just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And that's not something I want in my life. While I don't want to completely walk away from the feeds, I want more control over them. I want to pick what I see. I don't want some algorithm deciding what I see. This is where Reader comes in. This is a unified feeds app. This allows you to sign into different services, add RSS feeds, follow YouTube channels, even subscribe to podcasts. There's so much you can add in this app. Because you are choosing what you add to Reader, you only see the stuff that you are subscribing to. I've added websites I follow via RSS, Mastodon and Blue Sky accounts, and even subscribed to my most watched YouTube channels in this app. This is the one app to rule all my feeds. What I like about Reader is its incredible design, but also the ability to work with other apps. You can set up what swiping on a piece of content does. By default, if you swipe to the right, it will take that piece of content and open it in the associated app. So for example, a YouTube video in the YouTube app, or a Blue Sky post in Blue Sky, or an RSS item from a website into a browser. You can change what app is opened in the settings of Reader if you prefer to use a third-party client like Ivory instead of the official one. This gives me the ability to control what I see and what I read and what I watch, but it also still gives me the ability to interact with it. So if I want to like a post or share it, watch a video, or read a blog, I can. It also has a built-in save for later feature. By default, if you swipe to the left on something, it will get saved in the later category. You can swipe again to remove it if you wish. Reader has one of my favorite features that every app that's focused around reading content should have: Bionic Reader. This is a special font that helps with comprehension and speeds up the reading process. I talked about this a long time ago on the channel and did a bunch of testing back then, and it really does make a difference. There are a bunch of other controls for customizing the UI, but overall, this is a really great app that works right as you add your first feed into it. It's given me the ability to focus just on the stuff I want and not scroll infinitely. I've talked about a few different kinds of apps like this in the past, but Reader is definitely the most polished one out of those in February of 2026. If you're looking to have more control over the content you consume and less focus on an algorithm that just wants you to constantly keep scrolling, apps like Reader are perfect for you. I mentioned in my Creator Studio video that I had canceled my Adobe subscription and went all in on the Creator Studio and Photomator to replace it. So far, I've been really happy with this change. Photomator has the tools I use from Lightroom, it has a good design, and most importantly, it gives me good results. Now, there's one thing I forgot to mention when I did that Creator Studio video, and it's kind of an important thing. Photomator and Pixelmator Pro don't have support for camera profiles, and their support for lens correction is really different from the way it works in Lightroom. Now, so far, this hasn't been a huge issue for me. I've been able to work around it, but I haven't been shooting a lot of really ultra-wide shots. That's when like really good lens correction comes in handy. And as far as camera profiles go, they do a lot, but if I could boil it down to the absolute basics, and for those that know, I'm just boiling it down to the basics, it's essentially kind of like color profile and color science that the camera does. You can get around it if you're really good at editing, but it's nice to have those there. For me, the way I was paying for Photoshop and Lightroom, Creator Studio and Photomator is just significantly cheaper for me. I'm saving a lot of money every year. Photomator has a lot of really good tools for editing your photos. They have everything you would come to expect from Lightroom, plus they have some other stuff like the ability to apply a LUT to an image. Plus, Photomator is a really good iPhone and iPad citizen, meaning it has support for native tools and system features. And frankly, the Adobe apps don't have this. They feel either really bloated or really stripped down. And Pixelmator and Photomator, they kind of just strike this good balance. Photomator is also a lot easier to use on an iPhone than compared to Lightroom. Lightroom used to be really fast and really sleek on the iPhone. I used to really love it, but then they just kept adding bloatware to it, and it just made it where even the simplest things required a bunch of tapping. Plus, Photomator has these machine learning buttons. What these will do is they will analyze your photo and make adjustments using that tool automatically. Now, personally, I don't use these. I've been editing photos for a long time, so I know what these tools do. But I recommend these to a lot of people that are new to photo editing, because what this will do is it'll teach you what each one of those controls does, how it affects your photos, and where you might want to put it. Now, photo editing, like all art, is subjective. What I think looks good may not be what somebody else thinks looks good, and vice versa. So you kind of have to just go with what you think looks good. And when you start off, you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to turn the saturation slider up way too high. You're going to do all sorts of different things. We've all done it, and it's okay. You'll develop your flavor profile for photo editing as you work on it. Anyways, if you're looking for a good photo editor, check out Photomator. That's what I've been using. It's in the dock of my iPad and on my iPhone. This video is sponsored by Anker. This is the Anker Smart Display Charger. This is a 45-watt fast charger with an interactive screen. It recognizes your iPhone or even iPad Pro model, so it delivers a customized charging solution. It supports up to 45 watts of fast charging so that it can charge an iPhone 17 Pro from 0 to 50% in just 20 minutes. You can tap on the charger to cycle through different information the display can show. This includes real-time charging stats, temperature, and phone battery level, which is something I haven't seen before in a smart charger. When you lay down for bed, you can tap on the charger to enable care mode. This keeps the charger at 36 degrees Fahrenheit and your iPhone battery at 9 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than other 45-watt chargers. This helps with your battery health when you charge for a long period overnight. But my favorite feature of this is the dual folding plug. This gives it 180 degrees of motion with a 90 degree stop. So it has a folded up position for travel, and it's so small it's going to fit in most pockets. Then it has a right angle mode and a fully 180 degree mode. This way you have flexibility for how the charger is plugged in and where the cable comes out of. This is especially nice if your charger has to go behind a piece of furniture or the couch. This is a really nice charger to have around the house or even to travel with. I'm going to put some links in the description below so you can go check it out. My thanks to Anker for sponsoring this video. Parcel is my delivery tracking app. There are a few things that make it stand out from other apps. It hooks right into your Amazon account so that anything you order from there will automatically be added to the app. It also has really good Shareshot support so that you can just highlight a tracking number and add it to the app. If you're like me and you get a lot of packages sent to you, it also has an excellent widget so you can see what is coming next. I use Parcel every single day. It is an invaluable utility for me because I'm tracking stuff for the business and personal stuff and like household stuff, and this way I can just keep track of when stuff is coming, when I know I can work on that next thing, how long I'm going to be waiting on stuff. It's a really handy utility to use if you have a lot of stuff delivered to you. Sequel has been my media tracking app for a while now. Any movies and TV shows I want to watch get added here. Games I want to play or I'm currently playing get logged here as well. Even books I'm reading get stored here. What I like about Sequel is it not only keeps track of upcoming releases, but your backlog of media as well. I have a huge backlog of movies and TV shows I want to watch and games I want to play. Ideally, if I had infinite time, I would get to them all, but I don't have that kind of time in the day. But what Sequel does is when I have some downtime, it helps me decide what I want to tackle from that list. What am I in the mood for? I can just browse through here. I can look at the movies, TV shows, games. What am I in the mood for? What jumps out at me? And this is just kind of like a nice little database of all the stuff I want to interact with, I want to watch, I want to play. And it's kind of all just stored in one place. In Sequel, you can even build collections. For example, I have my favorite games of all time list, just something I like having, and maybe every once in a while I want to go back and revisit one of my favorite games. I really like this app. When I sit down and have some downtime, this is the first thing I open to see, like, okay, what do I want to watch? What do I want to play? What do I have time for? What can I go? It's nice to be able to browse through and be like, okay, this is a 3.5-hour movie. I probably don't have time for it, but oh, hey, here's a 2-hour movie. I do have time for that. Or, oh, hey, here's a television show I want to watch. Or, oh, hey, here's a game I've been wanting to play that's like 4 years old, but I just haven't had time to get to it. That's what this thing is for. It's just building your own personal database of things you want to watch, play, read, whatever. I take a lot of screenshots and I send them to various people, clients, sponsors, post things on the internet, things like that. And while just taking a screenshot and sending it off works, I want to make sure those screenshots stand out. I want to make sure my work, especially when I'm sending it to sponsors or clients or something like that, that my work is standing out above the rest. To elevate my screenshots, I've been using an app called Shareshot. Shareshot gives you the ability to put screenshots in the proper device frame. So if the screenshot is from an iPad, it will put it in the iPad's frame. This just gives those screenshots that extra touch and feels a bit more professional, a bit more high level. You can also adjust the background. You can make it professional with just a solid color or make it a gradient for a bit more fun and that little extra spice. In the background control options, there are a ton of details so you can get your image just right, including lighting effects, padding of the frame, and the device color. You can also change the aspect ratio of the final image so that it matches the context you need it for. Like I said, I use this a lot whenever I'm talking to sponsors or working with clients, but this is just a nice way of just making your screenshots a little bit nicer, even if you're just posting them to the web. HabitKit is a habit tracking app. I'm trying to get back into working out or doing some kind of exercise every single day. I fell off the wagon a bit last year, and I've been trying really hard to get back to it. HabitKit has a great UI that uses this dot system to show when you completed something on a calendar view. For me, I'm just tracking the days that I have done some kind of exercise, but you can set it up to track all sorts of different things. You can set up streak goals, it can be a simple once-a-day completion system, or you can set up custom values and completions per day. For example, you could track how many pages of a book you've read or healthy meals you've had. What I like about HabitKit is you can set it up so that it sends you a notification at a certain time. So for me, I have it set up to send me a notification at 7 p.m. and ask, hey, have you done your exercise today? If I haven't, it's a good reminder to go do that, and then I can check it off. If I have already done it, then it's a good reminder to go in the app and check it off because I probably forgot to open the app. I'm using the free tier of HabitKit, and it's been working great for me. Waterllama is a water tracking app. I'm trying to be a lot better about drinking more water and less caffeine. Easier said than done. What I like about Waterllama is you put your personal information in, for example, like weight and activity level and gender and that stuff. You put all that in and it'll figure out how much water or hydration you should be having every single day. But it's also not just for tracking water. You can also track beverages like soda or tea or whatever else that you drink. Like there's a ton of options in here. And what's nice is it gives you this kind of chart as you go through your day, and it shows like how much soda you've drank versus how much water you've drank, and maybe you should balance this out a little bit better, or obviously you should be drinking more water. So far, I think it's helping. I've been drinking more water and less soda every single day. But I do need to build up the habit of opening this app every single day or multiple times a day. Yesterday, I forgot to open it at all, and I lost my streak. This is a subscription app, but if you're committed to this kind of thing, $10 a year probably isn't that big of a deal to you. Like if you're really wanting to have better hydration and focus on your health, $10 a year isn't that much. There is a free 7-day trial so you can see if it sticks for you. My trial's about ready to expire, but I think I'm going to just go ahead and commit and just pay for a year. A big commitment of mine in 2026 is to focus on my health, and a big part of that is drinking more water and less caffeine. One of my favorite features of iOS and iPadOS 26 is the ability to set default apps when opening a file type. So for example, you could set a default PDF app when opening up a PDF file. But something became very clear to me right from the get-go. iOS and iPadOS do not have a built-in media player. There is preview, but there's not a lot of controls with that. And if you do use preview in files, it's just going to open in that files window for media. So you need to rescale files to get it full screen. And then when you're done, you need to rescale the files window back down. That got annoying really quick. I needed to find a dedicated media app. So I went high up into the mountains and low into the valley of the App Store searching for a media player. And I found one. And it's VLC. It's always VLC. When is it ever a different media player in any other video? VLC has a ton of controls. It supports the open with menu in files, which a lot of other media apps didn't. It's not an ad machine like a lot of other media apps. It has playback controls that work, unlike a lot of other media apps. And it supports every media file type I've thrown at it. Again, unlike a lot of other media apps. I went into the Files app and I found all the different kinds of media that I play back. WAV files, MP3, MP4, MOV, you name it. All those files. Long pressed on those, went into Get Info and changed the open with to VLC and then just changed it all for those file types. So that way, whenever I tap on one of those in Files, it now just opens right into VLC. I have one big issue with VLC and it's external monitor playback. So it works, you get a window just like any other normal iPad app, but there is a bug in it that it thinks it's casting to a TV, so you get this big overlay right in the middle of your video that says playback is happening on the TV or something like that. It's really annoying. I wish they would fix it. This is external monitor support has been around on the iPad for a long time now, since iPadOS 16. Fix that. But even with that bug, this is still the best media app on the iPad. So all of this to say, either VLC, please fix this, and like you would have a great media player on the iPhone and iPad, or Apple, please bring QuickTime to the iPad, because that's ridiculous. But other than that, like if you're not playing back a bunch of stuff on an external monitor, if you're just using the iPad screen, VLC is perfect for playing back video or audio files. Another media app I have been using is Media Info. Now, this is a really specific tool. In fact, I'm guessing maybe 10% of the people out there watching this video will use this app. But what this app does is it shows you all the information for a media file type. So MP4, MOV, WAV, whatever. This will show you all the info you could possibly imagine. Codec, frame rate, resolution, bit rate, color file, audio sample rate and format. Anything you could want to know about a media file, this will show you that. But this is not a well-built app. Nobody should go into this thinking this is going to be the best app Chris ever recommends. It's not, but it's the only app that I found that displays all of this information without you needing to jump through terminal or upload files to the web or anything like that. This is all local, has a GUI. I don't need to do anything weird. I don't need to remember terminal command or anything like that. This will just you browse, you pick the file, and it'll just show all the info. But it has this really annoying caching bug where that if you add a file from the Files app, it'll cache it in the Media Info app as well, so it's saving it in there. So even if you delete that file off the Files app, it's still in Media Info. So if you have a 13 gig video you added to it, that app is taking up 13 gigs. So every once in a while, what I have to do is I have to go in and delete the actual app, go in and delete the app and then re-download it, which is stupid. It is not good. But again, this is the only tool that I have found that does this, and it's frustrating. If you're like me and you need this kind of thing, like I've been using it a lot because I have a new camera that I've been filming everything with, and I'm trying to match this camera to my other camera, and I want things to be at like all the formats and codecs and all that stuff. I want it to be as close and as similar as possible. And I've been checking exports to make sure like things are coming out the right way. This app has been invaluable for that, but it is not a well-built app. If you need it, it's there. Great. Just no, I know. But let's end things on a positive note. One of my favorite apps to come out last year was Quick Subtitles. This app has just changed the way I can do subtitles on my channel. For years, I was asked to do proper subtitles and not just rely on the YouTube generated ones, because the YouTube generated ones, they're garbage. They are not good at all. They don't do punctuation. Everything's a run-on sentence. They get names wrong. They're bad. So lately, this is how I've been making the subtitles really good on my videos. Quick Subtitles uses the local Apple model to analyze video or audio files and output a proper subtitles file for it. It's extremely quick. I was using Whisper transcription before this, and this leaves it in the dust. Like Quick Subtitles is the Ford GT500, and Whisper transcription or the Whisper model is like whatever Dodge makes. Like Ford's always gonna win. Dodge. But it's not just outputting a file and boom, you're done. There is also a cleanup feature as well. So what happens is after the transcription is done, you can go to a cleanup tab. And this will use Gemini to look at the transcription, look for any spelling or grammar mistakes, and make suggestions. And you can sit there and improve them. You can hit approve all if you want or reject them. Doesn't matter. There's also a YOLO setting, which I can't believe that is a word I just said. But if you don't want to sit there and manually approve those, you can just select this setting and it will just automatically approve all the suggestions right there for you. I don't do that, but you can if you want. When you're done, you can export them as an SRT format and upload them to YouTube or whatever platform you're using. Really nice. It even has all the timing built in, so you don't need to do anything. You literally just hit upload file, select the file, and they're all there. You don't need to worry about timing or going through any of that menu stuff. You can also take the audio from a call or a meeting and transcribe it as well. And after it's transcribed, there's also a copy button, and you can copy the plain text for it and post it in a text editor or whatever you want. And that way that meetings is searchable. You have the full text. You can pull out whatever you want. You can send it to something like Claude and tell it to get the action items from the meeting or do whatever. Like, you would have the written text from that. This is a great app, and it's made my videos and podcasts more accessible, and that's something I'm always going to be excited about. So that's it. Those are some utility apps that I am using going into 2026. I want to hear from you all. If you have any utility recommendations for the iPhone, iPad, or even the Mac, just let us know in the comments below, because I and others would love to hear about it. My thanks to Anker for sponsoring this video. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great day.